This is the original launch edition PS5 from 2020, and this is the brand new PlayStation 5 Slim that just released today in 2023. In today's video, I'm gonna unbox the brand new PlayStation 5 Slim and find out whether this console is a worthy upgrade over the original 2020 PS5 or any of the older fat PS5s. Because yes, this is now the PlayStation 5 Fat. Sorry bud, happens to everyone when they get older. But let me put the OG guy off to the side, and let's check out the box for the PlayStation 5 Slim. So this isn't technically called the PlayStation 5 Slim. In fact, this is just the new PlayStation 5. This is actually the version that will completely replace the older version moving forward. And what's interesting about this newer PlayStation 5 is that unlike the older PlayStation 5, this is completely modular, which means there's only technically one new version of the PlayStation 5, even though they're selling a disc version and a non-disc version. And we'll get more into that later on in the video, but this bundle is the first time that you can actually buy the brand new PlayStation 5 for retail. And of course, I need a knife to unbox this box. I wasn't thinking, did I just not bring a knife? I don't even think it. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, not only am I unboxing this bundle, but I'm actually giving this entire bundle away to one of you guys. But of course, more on that giveaway later on in the video, so stay tuned. But before we cut open the box, let's take a quick look at the outside of the box. You've got the PlayStation 5, or the new PlayStation 5 on the side of the box. You've got Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, because that's a new game that's coming bundled with this system. Of course, it is just a digital code instead of a actual disc, which is kind of a bummer, especially because this is the disc version of the PlayStation 5. On the side of the box, you've got some more imagery from Modern Warfare 3, PlayStation 5 logo. On the back, you've got sort of your standard PlayStation 5 verbiage. You've got all the different information about playing like never before, which is not really true because if you have a PlayStation 5, you've probably played exactly like this before. So with all that being said, let's cut open the box and see what we've got inside. So I'm just gonna cut this tab right here. There we go. Pull open the box top, show you guys. Here's some stuff rattling around in there. Interesting. So first thing we've got is another box inside the main box, of course, as PlayStation likes to do. So I actually just bought this from Best Buy this morning. I went out to the store, picked it up. They had probably 4 or 5 in stock based on what I was hearing from the employees. So not a huge amount, but I'm assuming over time they'll get more stock in because obviously this is launch day for this console. I'm having so much trouble with this. All right, we're just gonna flip the tab on this guy and kind of move forward from there. There we go. Okay. So inside the box, we've got a couple different things. Power cable first, and also what I believe are the new stands that come bundled with the PlayStation 5 Slim. They're not really exactly stands. They are, I guess, things to. I guess they are stands. That's exactly what they are. These are stands for the sideways orientation of the PlayStation 5. Unfortunately, with this PlayStation 5, unlike the original PlayStation 5, they do not give you a stand inside the box other than these, which only allow your PlayStation to sort of sit horizontally on a table. With the original PlayStation 5, you could actually prop it up vertically if you wanted with that stand, but this time around they're making you pay $30 extra to buy a stand that allows it to stand vertically. Although it probably could stand vertically without the stand. Also, the digital version of this console got more expensive, which is another like, what? What are they thinking? But we'll talk about that more a little bit later on in the video. So continuing on inside the box, we've got an HDMI. Yeah, HDMI to HDMI to plug into your TV. We've also got the controller, the DualSense, which is probably my favorite controller on the market right now. This controller feels amazing in hand. Not only that, it's incredibly high tech. The responsiveness that you can get from this controller, the amount of feedback that you can get is incredible. So my favorite controller on the market by far. I have a couple of these, obviously, with my PlayStation that I showed you guys earlier. And this one will be going to someone brand new, someone who wins this console for free. So again, stay tuned for that. We've also got USB-C to USB-C to charge your controller. So that's a nice touch. Unlike the previous version of the console, I believe they gave you USB-C to USB-A. I could be wrong. It's been like 3 years since that OG console came out, but I think that's what it was. Since then, I have upgraded to just go USB-C to USB-C. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe those are the original cables. I don't know. I should watch my unboxing again. Okay, so here it is. Inside the box, we have got the new PlayStation 5 Slim and also some manuals, it feels like. Let's pull those out first. We've got your PlayStation 5 safety guide. There we go. And then you've also got the PlayStation 5 Quick Start Guide. Pretty long for a quick start guide. Let's pull out the actual console, finally. The part that I'm most excited about. I'm having the most trouble getting out. There we go. So here it is, the PlayStation 5 Slim. Now, I've heard conflicting reports on the actual size of this. Apparently, Sony says that it's 30% smaller, probably taking into account the weight and the size. I will say that standing in front of me right now, it looks smaller, but I wouldn't call it significantly smaller. Ooh, okay. It is nice looking. I'm not gonna lie. So here it is, PlayStation 5 Slim. I'm gonna take off this blue tape around the back. There we go. It's not bad. it's really not bad. Now, obviously, the main difference between this one and the older one, besides the size, is the fact that there's 2 panels on either side of the console. The top panel is gloss, the bottom panel is matte, which I don't love. I think it definitely harkens back to the original PS4 and some of the newer PS4 consoles that feature this sort of glossy panel. It's a cool texture difference, I don't mind it, but I'm just not a huge fan of gloss plastic on tech. I just don't think it's really in anymore. I wasn't even a fan of the gloss running down the center of the console, although it didn't look too bad on the original because it was kind of contrasted by the matte. You do have 4 panels on the exterior of this console now that are all removable, so you have a lot of different options for customizability because knowing PlayStation, they're going to cash in as much as they can and give you a bunch of different shell options so you can switch things out. As you probably could tell, this is the disc version of the new PS5. This console comes in at a retail price of $499, and what's cool about the bundle that I just grabbed is that that's the standard price of the console and you get a free game with it, in this case Modern Warfare 3. I'm sure they're going to release standalone versions of this console for $499 that don't come with the game, so I actually think this is a pretty good value, especially if you're planning to buy Call of Duty anyway. Now, unfortunately for the digital version of this console, the price went up. On the original digital PS5, you paid $399. On this version, you're paying $449. I guess the reason for that is because it is modular, so you could add a disk drive later on if you wanted to. However, the disk drive costs $79.99. It's an extra $80. So after all is said and done, you're paying $30 more buying the digital and then upgrading with the disk drive than you would be just buying the disk drive versions. So I think it will kind of hurt the sales of the digital version. And what's interesting is that I've noticed over the last 3 years, the all digital version of the PS5 is incredibly rare right now. Like I can't find any new ones anywhere. I'm sure they stopped producing it a while ago, but I haven't seen any in store. I barely ever see any online, so it makes me think that's not a very popular option. So I think most people will be going for the disc version of this console, and in this case, especially because it's only $50 more, absolutely worth it. That's the way that you should go. It's nice to have the option if you decide to upgrade in the future if you get the digital version. With that being said, I would like to pull off these panels and see how that works, because I've never done this before. I actually don't know how to do this, so I'm just gonna pull at it. I really hope I don't break this. Pop. There we go. Okay, so that was pretty easy to pull off the panel for the disk drive. And what's interesting about this disk drive is that when you buy it, you get this little piece right here, and you get this side piece. And all you need to do to remove it is actually press this button right here, and it pops off. So it's actually a very, very simple removal. There's no screws, which is amazing. Ah, there we go. It's off. Oh, you don't even need to pull the button. You can just pull it. So this is the PlayStation 5 disk drive, the modular disk drive. It only connects with this little port right here, right back in there. So it's very, very easy to install and uninstall. I mean, incredibly easy. I'm not very tech savvy, which is crazy to say because I have a tech channel, but it's true. So very, very easy to install and uninstall, especially if you're someone who does not do this very often, like parents or maybe kids or something like that. So if you do want to upgrade your PlayStation 5, very, very easy. But again, I think you should just buy the disc version. If you're ever at all wondering if you should get the disc version of the console, just go with the disc version initially, rather than buying the digital first and then trying to upgrade in the future. So that's my thought on that. So I would just go for the disc version. I'm assuming based on what we saw with the previous PlayStation 5, these will be a lot more common than the discless version. But I'm gonna try and pull this top part off now without breaking it. Oh, whew, that's scary. That is really scary. So here's the console from the side with neither side panel on. You've got the new fan, which apparently is a little bit smaller, but it should still provide good airflow because you've got literally nothing going on in there. Some of the, I guess, important tech improvements inside this console are not that important. Basically, it's the same architecture as the most recent PlayStation 5 update. The motherboard's a little bit smaller, but it's the same size, I believe, as the most recent version. But it is apparently smaller than on the OG version of the PlayStation 5. I believe the power supply is a slightly different size as well. But other than that, it's a very similar console, and realistically, this is more of a side grade than an upgrade. And it actually makes things a lot cheaper for Sony because now they just need to produce one main console and that's it. They don't have to produce a digital version and a non-digital version. They can produce one and then either install the disc drive for the non-digital version or just sell the disc drive separately for the digital version. So it's saving Sony a lot of money in that sense, and also the parts are cheaper than on the original PlayStation 5, and that always happens. That's why slim versions of consoles happen, because the company learns how to make the console cheaper than what they're originally making it for, and their profits go up. And especially in this case, when the digital version has gone up in price by $50, they're definitely making more money on this console than they were initially. So, lots to think about there, but that's the inside of the console for you. That's how you remove the disc drive. Pretty cool that you can do that. I like the modularity of this console. I like the fact that you can upgrade it, and it would be cool in the future if maybe you could add something else. Right here at the top, I'm not going to remove this little screw, but you can add more SSD storage. The cool thing about this console is that it actually comes with 1 terabyte of storage versus the 825 gigabytes in the older version of the PlayStation 5. So if you want to upgrade your storage even farther, you can always upgrade right there. Super easy, just pulling off this top panel. No issues whatsoever. So I think in a lot of ways, this is not so much a upgrade as it is sort of a streamlining of the original console. Performance-wise, you're not getting any extra performance. More of an upgrade for Sony than for you, realistically. I just gotta figure out how to pop this back in. I'm so afraid I'm gonna break this. Okay. Oh, we're in. There we go. It just sounds like it's gonna break when you pop these in. Not loving that. This is frightening, I'm not gonna lie to you. Are we in? We're in. Okay, the top one's a lot easier. But there we go, that's the sort of internals of this console as far as I'm willing to go. I will say that size-wise, this does seem smaller than the original PlayStation 5, and to show that to you guys, I'm gonna grab the OG PS5, the Fat Boy, and compare it to the slimmed down version, the one that's hit the gym, and also added some gloss. So here we go, this is the new PlayStation 5 Slim, this is the PlayStation 5 Fat, and you can see side by side there is definitely a height difference of maybe an inch, inch and a half, nothing major. Width-wise, I think that the PlayStation 5 Slim is definitely slimmer. Maybe an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches. Not exactly sure. The overall styling of the console is the same. Thickness-wise, though, there is definitely a difference. Let's see. Actually, is there? I don't know if there's that much of a difference. It's definitely thinner towards the top, but where the disc drive is, it's about the same width. That's crazy. I would have expected it to get smaller. Also, one difference that you may notice from the front is that on the PlayStation 5 thicker version, you've got these nice fins that sort of add to the design appeal of the console. On this one, it's just literally a hole all the way down to where the fan is. So visually from the front, it's not as pretty, but I will say that honestly, it's not that noticeable. But I do like the original design of the PlayStation 5 better. Not only that, on this black center panel, you've got this nice sort of swooping curve. On the original, it's just kind of flat and just kind of falls down the front of the device. I don't know if I prefer that. It's a very minor difference, but either way, it's there nonetheless. Weight-wise, I do want to weigh these guys really quickly to see if there's a large weight difference between the OG PS5 and the PS5 Slim. So let me grab my scale really quick. All right, so let's check out the weights of these guys. Let's weigh the PlayStation 5 Larger Than Life Edition first. Here we go. So that is coming in at 9 pounds, 12.5 ounces. So it's not light, I'll say that. Let's check out the slim version now. This is coming in at 7 pounds, 9 ounces. You know, 2 pounds and a bit lighter. That's not bad. That plus the size improvement means that you are getting a smaller version of the console. Is it that much smaller? Not really. Is it that much faster? Not at all. It's the same performance generally. There's a little bit less power usage, at least on the slim version versus the OG version, because this version is a little bit more optimized. And I think even the previous upgrade to the PlayStation 5 featured those same power improvements. So realistically, you're not getting any sort of boost in terms of performance or power usage compared to the most recent PlayStation 5 update. That being said, if you are new to the PlayStation 5 ecosystem, you're probably gonna be stuck buying this version of the console because this one, once they sell out of these, they're gone. Now I will say that yes, the size and the weight is nicer. It's not a huge improvement, it is noticeable, especially when holding them side by side. There are a few other differences in terms of I/O on this console. On the front of the console, you've got 2 USB-C ports, and then your power button right there. On the disc drive, instead of having a button for the disc drive on the front of the console like you do on the OG PlayStation 5, which also only had 1 USB-C and a USB Type-A, you've actually got this physical button for the disc drive on this version of the console, which I actually prefer because it means that it's a little bit easier to find. On this one, I struggled to find which one was power, which one was disc. You eventually do learn which one is which, but I honestly don't remember because I buy most of my games digitally. I hate to admit it, but it's true. On the back of the console, you have some more I/O differences. On the OG, you've got 2 USB-As, you've got your Ethernet, you've got your HDMI, you've got your power. On the PlayStation 5 Slim, you've got your HDMI at the top, you've got your Ethernet, your 2 USB-As, and then your power down at the bottom. So the placement's a little bit different because obviously the motherboard is different. So nothing major. If you like the USB-C on the front of the device, if you like having more USB-C, I should say, on the front of the device, you will prefer the PlayStation 5 Slim, especially if you have VR like I have. It will make it a little bit easier for you because you can charge a controller and use a VR headset at the same time. With this one, unless you have the USB Type-A charging cable, which I think I do actually have, you can charge the controller and play PSVR. But I keep saying it, that this console is really more of a mid-life cycle refresh than an update. It's, again, more of a side grade than an upgrade. It really isn't anything major, even with the new size and weight. It is noticeable, but it's not gonna change your life. And from a design point of view, I definitely prefer this guy. I like the solid finish on the side of the console. I like how it's all one piece on either side. This one, it just gets a little bit too busy. I don't love the fact that there's 2 different materials or 2 different finishes of materials on the side of the console. I don't love this cut down the side. It's just a little excessive. I do like the idea though that you can switch out the 4 different panels on the console and really customize the way your console looks. That being said, you could do that in this console too, just with 2 side panels, and it might be cheaper for you. I think there's a lot to like about this console and a lot to kind of feel neutral about. It really is a very similar console to this console, at least when you're buying the disc version. They're both the same price. They both have similar power usage. They both have the same performance. And if I have to answer the question, is it worth the upgrade from this console to this console? I would say no. The only real reason that I would buy this console is, 1, if I didn't have a PlayStation 5, which I think will be the main reason that people buy this console. 2, if I wanted a second PlayStation 5 for maybe a family member or a different room in the house. Or 3, if I had the all-digital version of the PlayStation 5 and I wanted a disc drive, because this will be the only option that you'll have. I think it is possible that around the holidays, around Black Friday, this thicker version of the PlayStation 5 will get discounted, so you probably will be able to get this for cheaper than this version of the console. That being said, in this bundle, you do get the Call of Duty 5 game bundled in for the same price as this one. So even if this one gets a $50 price reduction, or even say $80 price reduction, this might still be the better value. Maybe not at $80, but for $50 definitely. So it really comes down to your budget, and also, honestly, which console you like better. If you like the look of this console better, go with this one. If you like the look of this console better, go with this one. Oh, actually, before I forget, let's try and put this guy horizontally. So apparently these clip into the sides of the console. Oh, there's little holes, okay. So there are actually these little holes in this little gap right here, which sort of help you key in the stands, which I will say is a nice feature, especially because the different legs of the stand, I can't pull these out now for some reason. The different legs of the stand have different sizes. I would show you, but they have different widths. So you know exactly which way and which orientation to put the stands in. But this is what the console looks like horizontally. Is that right? It doesn't look even. Maybe it is. Maybe it's just the way that the console kind of bends. Huh. So horizontally, not bad. These are fine. These stands work. I would have preferred a stand that works both vertically and horizontally, but as you guys have seen throughout this entire video, it can stand horizontally. It might not be the most stable, I was gonna say, but it's not even shaking. So I think you're fine just going vertically, but if you are worried about that, then spend $30 on that stand that you should have gotten inside the box. I think it is a metal stand though, so it does look nice, but it is $30 extra. But before we round everything off, let me tell you guys how you can win this PlayStation 5 Slim and Modern Warfare 3 for yourself. All you need to do is subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed to it, Tech Fowler, by clicking that subscribe button right down there, and comment subbed up in the comment section down below. This giveaway will run for 2 weeks, and I'll do a live stream in 2 weeks and pick a random person from the comment section, and that person will win this console. So if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're getting so close to 100,000 subscribers, and one of you guys will be getting this console for absolutely free. So stay tuned for that. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. That's the only way to have a chance to win this console for yourself. And again, to give my final thoughts on this console, if you don't have a PlayStation 5, grab this one. It's the only option you have. At least it will be the only option you have in a couple months once these sell out. If you already have one, I don't think it's worth the upgrade unless you're looking to grab a second one. But those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and comment subbed up if you want to win a free PlayStation 5 Slim for yourself. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.